Anyway, continuing with the show, we're going to talk about the division-winning AFC South for the first time since I think 2007, or was that the Colts? Maybe. With the Jacksonville Jaguars, who made the playoffs for the first time since 2007. It's been a while since they ever won a division. Maybe it's probably the first time, because I know it's mostly been the Colts division. Then the Texans had their way, and the Titans had a couple times. I believe this was the first time if they didn't win it way back in 2007, or any earlier than that. But I'll give them credit for the first time. Spending a lot in free agency finally paid off for them. And yeah, they did have a couple good drafts, and even this one I would say, yeah, it's pretty good. But still, they're mostly known for paying a ton of people in free agency, a ton of money, and this is one of the few times it worked. Congratulations. But now looking at this team, I think they will make the playoffs again, but is it a Super Bowl appearance, Texas? Is there a Super Bowl appearance? We'll see. Quarterback right now is still Blake Bortles. I was very surprised when they decided to keep him, but since he was a step above competency in 2017, I guess I'd say, you know what? We found something. It can work. We just need to find a way to keep it going. And their backups aren't bad, and knowing that the backups might have to step in at some point, either Cody Kessler or Tanner Lee. But right now, I mean, Bortles, I thought he was going to be way better after his second year, but just so many things went wrong at the wrong time for him. And, but yeah, I think he's a step above being competent. That's my thing on Bortles. Now looking at the run back core, Leonard Fournette worked out well. Very surprised by that. I thought he was going to be pretty used up in his first year, but he did pretty well. I think they're going to split reps with Fournette and Corey Grant, who really stepped up, and you're probably going to see him being the third down back, and Fournette being primarily the 2-down back. Yeldon might still be there. I wouldn't be surprised if he got traded at some point. And then you look at the wide receiving core. No Allen Robinson. I was very shocked, sort of, to see him go. But the wide receivers they brought in, it's pretty interesting. They drafted DJ Shark, and they signed Dante Moncrief. They also have D.D. Westbrook, Marquise Lee, and Keelan Cole. So this is going to be an interesting wide receiving core to see form up. We might see Rashad Green be the sixth receiver if they decide to keep him. They got other guys like Alan Lazard, who's a very good possession receiver, back in college, and especially a touchdown scorer if they ever need to throw it. And of course, the tight end, they got rid of Marseille Lewis for the first time. And right now we're running with Austin Safari and Jenkins. So this is a pretty interesting group of targets for Bowles to throw to, considering he might only throw maybe 25 times at max per game. I think they're going to stick with that run-heavy approach, and the offensive line is definitely suited for it. The tackle is going to be Cam Robinson, who I thought performed way better at left tackle than I thought he was going to be. I thought he was either going to be kicked at interior or thrown at right tackle. They have Jeremy Parnell playing right tackle, who's doing okay, above average. The guards, they signed Andrew Norwell. That was a surprise. I thought he was going to be with the Giants. And he's going to be lining up, I'm pretty sure, with A.J. Cann at the other guard position, with Brandon Leiter at center. So they're really prepared and really sold on doing the run-heavy approach. So you could probably see Fournette getting close to 300 carries, with Yeldon might be in the relief back, and Corey Grant getting some plays in. But this offense definitely looks like it's a little better than last year. Hopefully, durability is not a major concern. I mean, they signed Moncrief to I think they signed him to a long-term deal. They didn't give him. I would have given him probably a 1-year deal, maybe about $2 million. But I think they signed him to a long-term deal, which is that's a huge risk of all things of all signings. That was a huge risk. I'm not. If they give him a 1-year deal, props. But I would not have given him I would not have given him more than 2 years. The offensive line is solid overall. It's more built to play the run than the pass. I think against the pass they might give up a few sacks, but it's more built for opening run lanes because they're gonna. Because I can definitely see teams stacking the box against Fournette and even Grant more and more as the season goes on. So it's going to be up to Bortles to really throw the ball, which is why I think they kind of improved their wide receiving core by getting Moncrief, by drafting Shark and signing Safarian Jenkins, because they just don't want to. They know that teams are going to expect a run again when you have Fournette or even Grant at running back. So you're going to have to throw the ball at some point, and they're gonna want Bortles to beat him. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the mindset from all defensive coordinators. Can we make Bortles beat us? Is the thing, and if he can get to his 2015 self, where he threw for 4,000 yards and threw a lot of touchdowns, they'll be back in the playoffs and maybe a Super Bowl appearance. But of course, what's an offense to the defense? And the defense is very talented. I was very surprised that Calais Campbell worked out as well as he did. I guess it was just one of those I guess he jumped in a rejuvenation pool before landing in Jacksonville to really stick it to Arizona. And of course, they have the alternates of Dante Fowler, and they also had Yannick Ngakoue, I'm pretty sure I pronounced that name correctly, who really stepped up as a rotational edge rusher. Defensive tackles probably going to be Marcel Darius and Malik Jackson, but I think Jackson's time with the Jaguars could be close to done, considering they drafted Taven Bryan in the first round, who I loved watching scouting tape on him. I wanted my favorite team, as you can see back there, to draft him, but you know what? I'm glad he's in Jacksonville. I think he's going to do very well there. I'm not sure if they're going to use him like another Calais Campbell, have him play on the outside against run, and then throw him inside against the pass. But this is going to be an interesting defensive line. Everyone talks about how great the Eagles' defensive line is, but then you look at the Jags, and it is very dangerous too. There's a reason why they were called Saxonville in 2017. And I do think it will continue. Now the linebackers, right now it's mostly Miles Jack and Talon Smith. I think they'll probably play mostly two linebackers. I think most because they really don't have a third linebacker. They might throw in a couple guys, but I think they'll just stick with the two of Miles Jack and Talon Smith. I talked about this earlier in 2017, last year before I ever did this. I thought the Jacksonville Jaguars should switch to a 3-4 scheme, a more traditional one. It would put Smith and Jack as your inside linebackers, one being the main and the other one being the weak side, and then you would have Fowler and Ngakoue being your edge rushing talent. Being your edge-setting linebackers, with maybe getting one of them out, probably putting in someone like, I don't know, Blair Brown. I'm just throwing names out there. They'll probably alternate every now and then. And then your defensive line would consist of now you have Marcel Darius, so he can play your nose tackle, and your ends, your defensive tackles would be Calais Campbell and Malik Jackson. To me, that would be really interesting if they ever decide to do that. But, of course, it requires the right coordinator and the fortitude to do it. But the scheme that they're running is good. They found a way to make it work, and I think it will succeed very, very well. It's worked so far, and I think it will continue working. And then you look at the cornerback core. Right now, the two main starters, Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boye. And the nickel corner is going to have some competition. Definitely some, I think. Probably DJ Hayden might be there. Maybe Jalen Myrick playing the slot. There's going to be an open competition considering they lost Aaron Colvin for agency. And, of course, the safety is going to be Sean Gibson and Barry Church. I think Church might have some competition at the safety with Ronnie Harrison being drafted in the third round. I really did like Ronnie Harrison. Thought he's a very good hard-hitting safety that plays close up to the box. I can definitely see him probably taking a job away from Barry Church at some point in the near future. Free safety might be. It'll also go to Gibson until they find a nice replacement, and might not ever happen until probably next year when they in the first round. So, looking at this roster, it's talent. It has talent. It has talent galore. I I wouldn't be shocked if all of a sudden they had this collapse. But then again, I think some people are kind of expecting it. They think, oh, 2017, that was a fluke. Things just went right at the right time. They had some favorable matchups. No. I think this is a good team, especially seeing how far they made into the playoffs. Because if it was primarily a fluke season, they probably would have lost in the first round or maybe the divisional. But no, they made it to the AFC Championship and went down the wire with Tom Brady's Patriots. This is a very good team, and I think can stay good for a while. Sure, they might have to rejuvenate with some young talent to replace some of the current vets they have, like Jackson and Campbell. But I think they'll find that transition working pretty well. I don't know about Bortles though. I don't know how he's going to be when it goes later on. That's going to be the real keys. If Bortles has that on and off year, which he's been having so far, where every even year has been bad and every odd year has been good, they want good consistency, and I think Doug Marrone sees the weakness and knows how to effectively counteract it. Right? And of course, looking at their schedule, they have to play a lot of first place teams like the Chiefs, the Chiefs, and I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart here. And who won the West? Oh yeah, the Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs and whoever won the North. Right? The Steelers. But this is a very favorable schedule. I do like this. I think everyone's going to be paying attention to that rematch against the Patriots in Week 2. They got an early game against the Giants, which I think they'll be able to handle pretty well. All right. And looking at this, they're still playing the East. And it's a tough schedule. It's a very tough schedule. And I think also a lot of people are looking for that rematch against the Steelers. Oof. Yeah, this is a... Yeah, so, what do I have this record at? I'll have them winning the division game, probably with a 12-4, 11-5 record. They do have a lot of challenge, but I think they're up to it. I think they'll pose a lot of problems, especially, going against the Cowboys. You got a strong defensive line going against a strong offensive line. 2 Titans clashing. That's going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm very surprised that's not like a Monday Night Football game, because to me, I would have thrown it on Monday Night Football without a moment's hesitation. They have a Week 9 bye, which I think they'll do very well this season. If they don't make it back to the playoffs, they probably won't ever go back for another 10 years, essentially. But they have enough talent. The coaching is fine, and I can't wait to see this team really probably be a dominant force in the AFC South for the next, I'll give them 5 years. So, of course, we'll conclude AFC South week tomorrow with probably final predictions and final record predictions. So, till later, catch y'all then.